Well, you dropped my phone.
Go live. It's
On her best behavior.
I need to get over here. I'm all behind here. There we go.
Supposed to be professionals, Joey.
Professionals.
I always mess that up. And it's the way it is. It's the way it is.
Here we are.
And it's about right. Because now I have to sneeze.
There we go.
Oh, man, go away.
Fingers up your nose. That makes a good camera.
Here we go. All right, y'all ready?
No, yeah.
Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast with your host, Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, Matt with Wacky Works Workshop, Jen with Jen's Turns, Jamie with JP Woodwork, and Jake with Northside Custom Crafts. Welcome to Creative Makers Podcast, episode 74. I'm Joey with Steel Blade Woodworks, and today we have Mark with Streamline Woodshop. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing swell.
Swell.
Thanks for having me.
That's a good one.
That is just such a nice background you have there. It's pretty cool.
It's comforting, you know.
Keeps you warm at night.
There's a lot of solutions and a lot of problems behind me.
Yeah, I would say so. So, Mark, we usually start off and give us the long version of how you got started doing what you do.
You want the long version?
Long version.
Yes, sir.
All right.
We got an hour, bud.
Well, that's a tough one. I wasn't expecting the long version. I guess high school. So you're going 20 plus years ago is when this started. But for real, it was high school. I got involved in the trades in high school. I got sent away to a trade school. My freshman year was 1994. So I don't know about you guys, but my high school had a wood shop, but it was no longer functional. Well, I'll take that back. It was functional for my freshman year because there was the seniors were making paddles because that was right around the time when Days of Confused came out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you had to be 16 or you had to be a junior senior. And so that wasn't an option for me. And then by the time it was my time to get in there, it just didn't exist. So they would ship us out to a trade school, basically, which is at the community college. And wasn't meant for good kids. It was meant for the bad kids to go to. We were gone for six periods of the day. But they had like cosmetology, like it was, for everybody. And then, I was able to get a job in a cabinet shop. I graduated when I was 17 and then moved out, started working full time and bounced around. It's tough to tell a long version of this because it's long. But out of high school, I bounced around for years and years doing electrical, got into management. So project management, was a superintendent for a bit. Eventually, I had 2 different companies that I started for general contracting. Just kept kind of moving up that blue collar ladder with many failures and things that kind of brought me back down a rung many times that made me change direction because I had no guidance or anything. You just kind of fake it till you make it. But I always gravitated towards the carpentry side of anything that I did. But maybe as you guys know, as I still know, there's really no money in the woodworking world as far as planting your foot down and living on your own and, owning a house and doing that whole thing. It's pretty tough to get going. So I experimented a lot on that journey, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm still experimenting, to be honest with you. I don't think I've done. I mean, I'm about to embark on actually being a full-time wood shop in the next coming months. I haven't been a solely dependent incomed wood shop ever. I've always had some other form of income.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Thanks for being here.
I skipped over a lot of stuff, by the way. Just you're gonna have to ask those questions.
Thanks for being here. For everybody at home, my name is Jake Thompson from Northside Custom Crafts, and I usually do an icebreaker. My icebreaker for you, Mark, is: do you even make eye contact, bro?
Am I to respond to the icebreaker?
Yeah.
Are you married?
Huh?
Yeah.
I have been a couple times.
Yeah. We might need to. Well, that means your icebreakers have worked at least more than once.
Yeah.
I do make eye contact, bro, just not in person.
Not in person. Me either.
Oh my god.
Hey, so the real question is, after the icebreaker that I suck at, so what brought that on? That's your stick you do on social media. So what brought that on?
Yeah, that's a full on. I wish I was like a mastermind, full on organic entity. Really, like somebody commented one day and said I looked creepy, and I just kind of leaned in it. But yeah, like so I had a general contracting company called Streamline Craftsman, partnered with somebody, and then was starting to do a little more wood shop, but it was kind of getting on the social media side, it was getting a little like mixed, that people didn't know what we did, you know. So because I was more active on the social media part, so I started the Streamline Woodshop page just last August, and was just filming myself long form and all the, you know, it was just awkward. So I eventually just started looking at the camera while I was doing something just to entertain myself. And then somebody said, "You look creepy." I came home. My gal said, "You look creepy when you like stare right in the camera like that." And I said, "I think I'm going to lean into that, you know." And then it just kind of evolved into me being on your podcast. I would say I'm far from creepy in most things, but it's easy just to stare. I spend, I don't know about you guys, but I spend 95% of my time working alone without talking to anybody. So it makes it steps up the weirdness when I got these cameras looking at me, you know. But I'm also the one that's putting them in front of me, and I'm making sure lights are on me and doing all that. So it was like, how am I going to ignore this thing that I'm doing? So I just decided to start staring at it.
Yeah.
You ever go so far when you're editing, you're like, whoa.
I can tell you this. you know how you don't get used to your voice with having a podcast, editing, that's the toughest thing in the world, because good God, do I sound like an idiot. But like I don't even see myself anymore from all the social media, because you got to be so fast, and it's, you know, it's usually a massive amount of footage that you're creating to make a 60-second, and you know, for the time when it only needed to be 15 seconds. So I just don't even see myself. It's just this image of a human at this point. So, cause it's not who I am, you know?
Yeah. It took me a long time to get over that shyness of just like, what am I doing? Just in my, you know, like, am I crazy? What am I doing here? I'm talking into this camera, and it's just, it took me a while to get over that, because it was silly to even go back and just watch it. It was just gut wrenching. I'm like, dude.
And I don't know your age, but you know, I didn't grow up with a camera in my face, you know. And
no.
So it's not a natural
lot older
thing.
than you, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Well, just from the context clues, I think we're a little older.
We're
Okay.
older.
So
No, you're one step away from talking to yourself, you know, and people are going to walk in going.
I mean, I am talking to myself. Yeah. I mean, we are talking to ourselves. If you whatever you didn't post is you talking to yourself, and not only are you talking to yourself, you're a voyeur of your own self. You're filming yourself talk to yourself. It's disgusting.
Man, you're gonna mess it all up for me again.
Not spending hours. You spend hours editing your own stuff that you're creeping out on anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Then you go home and you watch yourself over and over again, making sure you look the best. It's all creepy. You guys are all creeps, man.
I'm
the only one brave enough to admit it.
Waterproof TV in the shower, watching yourself and editing in the shower.
I'm taking on a whole perspective again, because my wife would sit there and watch me at first, and then she starts making those little, you know, noises under her breath, and I'm like, what's wrong? What did I do wrong? And she's over there trying to critique me, you know.
I don't think I could do what I do with somebody behind the camera, to be honest with you. It would just, and keep a straight face. You know, some of them I'm going over a minute without, like, you know, I'm doing my best. My cheek muscles are getting stronger, but you know, like I'm doing my best to not blink, to not do anything, to not veer away from the camera lens. But if somebody was behind it, it would just be outtake city. You know, I don't think I could get through it.
And then the stupid stuff, like you literally do start. What's a good way I can put it? Like talking to yourself, but just getting after yourself, like you stupid.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you catch all that, you forget that thing's filming, and then you go back and you watch it, and I'm like, oh my God, if people saw this stuff, it would probably be good. It'd probably go viral, you know, but it's like
but it's the guts to let it. That's the guts to let it out there.
Yeah. If you have that, I've done a couple of them. You should do that. I think because the social media is just all it's all bull crap, as we'll say here. So it's just like, you know, like that's human, right? You know, like the mistakes are human. Your bad days are human, and I think that stuff's more important to put out there. It might not, you know, like I know it can be popular to like cry or something like that, like, but you're crying about, like, you see a doctor cry because they just lost a patient, but you put your phone down, and then you put a tripod up and a light, and we could see you cry. You know, like you put all this thought into your emotion. This isn't real.
Right.
So those outtakes, that's 100% real. You're not faking that, you know. So that's good. That shows the human side, and it shows how hard this is, you know, to do that kind of stuff, even though it comes off so easy because it's just a blink of an eye for somebody else, you know. And God forbid you make a mistake or say something stupid, and the thing that you put out there, you know, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, you know, my name's Matt with Wacky Works, everybody at home. Mark, I think that was one of your first videos is that you came out with was mistakes that you had made on the desk that you had built, and the drawers that were a little too wide.
Oh yeah. And I think that was a story, right?
Yeah.
I should have made that into something else.
Yeah. So I mean, and I also back then you started out with something that I found interesting, and it was a segment that you brought in that was just the tip.
Yeah. Can you say that on this?
Of course I can. We're just talking about the tip that you were talking about.
Tip I was giving you.
Yeah, exactly. And so you started that out, and I think me and you had a conversation on your Instagram that we were talking about different kind of techniques of that you were teaching, and people just not understanding some of the things, like, you know, the 3, 4, 5 for corners and and stuff like that. Can you elaborate on any of that?
For me that was eye opening. So like my tips are these things that I just know, you know. So like I touched on that in the stories that I was doing, that these are when you know something and you know it for 20, 25 years or something, you don't remember that you even learned it. So you just know this. And we're often, most of our people that are looking at our stuff are our peers. You know, there's some, you know, fans and some people that are DIYing and trying to learn from you, but we're kind of performing for each other. And so why would I say something that's like, you already know this? I'm not going to try to teach you this thing you already know. But the amount of people that I had just with the 3, 4, 5, I even had people with just doing the crow mark, you know, for marking a board, as opposed to just a single line. People that are woodworkers that just like, I've never done that before. I'm going to start doing that to create a point as opposed to creating a, you know, even though we're probably good, you can make a pretty straight line, but there's some variance in that. But yeah, the 3, 4, 5, I had numerous of people reach out and say they've never heard of that. Granted, if you are a woodworker and you're following me, when are you 3, 4, 5ing for the most part, you know? So this was just old school stuff that I learned back in my framing days and things,
doing layout and stuff.
So even kind of going with the showing your outtakes or showing your actual like failures, you know, that's also one of these things. Don't like gatekeep this little thing that you do because you think everybody knows it, because maybe one person doesn't, you know, and that's cool when you can teach that person something, because one person taught us.
Yeah, I don't know who that was, but they did.
Exactly. You don't remember because you just felt like you were born with it.
Yeah, it almost like, you know, just common knowledge, and you think everybody knows, but then you you teach it one time, and then it's like they're throwing out numbers like 7, 12, 6, and I'm like, what?
Matt came over here to help build this room that I'm sitting in right now, and he's Mr. I have to correct everything, and everything has to be said the right way. And I think me and you are probably more alike, where we just say, yeah, that thing.
Yeah, I don't know
thingy.
Anything.
So Matt also. So I would say, hey, the 759, it's the 234, and I'd be like the 11, 19, 45, and I would say it wrong every time, and he would have to correct me every time. So for a whole week, the 345 method was not the 345 method, and he had to correct me every time. So,
and that's the beauty of we don't care what it's called as long as you know how to do it. Who cares? Just do the thing. Make the triangle thing, and then make it square with the triangle thing. You're good.
He tried to explain it to me one day because I was like, "What the heck are you talking about, dude? This 345." And Matt's Mr. Math, right? Because that's what we, when we need something to solve, we call Matt. Matt, figure this out. And he's over there. Well, you got it. I don't care how you got to. Just tell me what it is. Right. That's all I need to know.
Just show me the baby.
Yeah, show it to me. He like goes into this.
Show me. You see what I'm dealing with? You see what I'm dealing with?
I don't care about the afterbirth. Show me the baby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't care about no labor pains.
Let me know when it's here.
Yeah. It's like, it was one of those things like when we were trying to measure CFM on a dust collection deal, and it's like me and him went back and forth. We kind of blew up like 3 anemometers before we figured out that there's a dang arrow pointing of which way the wind needs to go, right? I literally froze one up, welded the plastic together, and I was like, well, how about that, Mr. Math? What the heck did we do wrong here? Right? And then he starts looking up and he starts, well, you got to do pi r squared times a coefficient. I said, I don't care. Just tell me what the freaking answer is, dude. That's all I need to know, Oh my God. We went round and round, but
all right. Settle down for a second, Joe. We got Jamie's out here. Out here. He's one that he's doing something else tonight. He's supposed to be on here with us, but he's not. Apologies for not being able to make it tonight. That being said, question. Do you have lots of meaningful tattoos like the potato peeler one?
Yeah. I mean, do you guys have tattoos?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you have more than you have a lot of them?
Yeah, I used to be a tattoo artist.
Do you love being asked what your tattoos mean?
No.
Yeah, me neither. But I do have a different take on it now, in the sense of it's like me not taking a troll coming at me because I put something out on the internet. Well, I put it out there for you to see, so it's your right to say something. But good, let's watch me do this. Good gosh, man. You hit on you hit on an emotional one, but this is a peeler that my very good buddy Silas, who passed away I don't know, I'm not good with dates either, many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. He was a chef, and it was kind of the last thing he gave me. So it says SP, and it's a great peeler. I still have it. So way to hit on an emotional one, because I've got some that I just got just because I was there.
I want one too.
But rest in peace, Silas. He was a good one, a friend of mine since I was 13.
Nice.
So, Mark, you kind of hit on a while ago that you're thinking about going, or you're going to go full time. You're getting yourself set up. Can you explain to us a little bit how that journey's been to get to that point for everybody out there listening?
Yeah. Well, I can talk a little bit. It's touchy. So, during COVID, I moved back to Illinois, and prior to that, I had Streamline Craftsman in Portland, Oregon. And we were at that time a installations company, so doing a lot of event work for like Nike and Adidas. There's a lot of brand stuff that's happening out there. Things were going great. COVID hit. Obviously, nobody's entertaining, so we're not out there doing any installations anymore. My gal and I decided to move back to Illinois. Here, I had a longtime friend who we used to work together, 15 plus years ago at that time. He was looking to step it up into the general contracting. He had been a general contractor, was looking to take it to the next level. We made a decision that I would absorb his company and let's make it big. That was about 4 years ago. And recently we have decided to part ways. And I'll spare details on that. But in that process, one of the services we were offering was the custom wood shop. But I was also running the business during that time. So I could never really dedicate, an 8-hour, 10-hour day to building something. It was hard. So I would only take on projects that were on our remodels at that time. So it was maybe 4 or 5 projects a year. But yeah, with the separation happening, kind of don't have a choice, but also get the opportunity, if we're being positive, to just fully focus on the wood shop as a source of income for my first time, knowing it is a terrible source of income. So I do plan to leverage a lot of the content world, and I'm going to hit that a little harder because anything I can do to supplement here and there would be great.
Cool. Wish
So
you the best of luck.
Yeah,
Thank you
good.
very much.
I'll good luck, and I'll piggyback off of that. So, without digging too much,
You can dig. I'll deflect.
Hey, and I'll do the same
Don't
thing.
we all?
Yeah, I did it with the marriage question.
Yeah. And I picked up right away.
So the revenue streams, like what all kind of revenue streams have you figured out to do out of that wood shop?
Figuring out is a great way to say I have not figured anything out. I'm an entrepreneur at my truest form. That's what I love more than anything that I do. Woodworking is just a passion of mine, right? So there's angles. So with being an entrepreneur, you have to also be an opportunist. And if there's something in front of you that you could maybe leverage or take advantage of for good, should do that. And I did not get into social media for anything that's happening in this moment. It was literally just a digital business card. And what it led to was nothing I planned for. Nothing even thought it existed. I didn't think you just could be a woodworker and be getting deals with brands or be getting spot. That was not at all in my view of doing that. So I'm not anything different. Like the business side of being a woodworker, I know what I need to do to try to get more clients and try to get specific and try to stay within my niche of building. Making that happen is a totally different story. And leveraging the content world is just simply treating it as another job for me. There's things that come from it. And the only way they come is if you're just working at it every day, so it's all free, all this social media stuff's free. YouTube's free for us to do, but there is a monetary value to be gained so long as you just do it, and don't complain. So I just treat it all like a job. If I could get $200 a month, an extra income, I'm not going into it like I'm going to be an influencer or whatever that would be. But I am looking at it. It's silly to not, embrace any momentum that I might have with that, even though it's something I didn't expect to have or even know I could have for that matter, but it's here. So, now that my life's changing a little bit, am I to ignore that? No, I think I embrace it and also combine it with my own, methods of moving an actual business forward. This world's I don't know what it'd be. It's like it's a product of my business. It's a product of my brand. As am I, I'm a product of my brand, and as sad as it is, especially in the woodworking thing, like if you can get your personal product up, which is just you, people want to hire you. And it doesn't necessarily matter about what you've done, with your work. They just want you to do it. Right. And I think there's plenty of people we could reference in this world that are popular where maybe we think we're better than them or more skilled than them, but they did a better job at the other part of it, and that makes them better. Like simple as that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that I don't have a
in
plan
social
for
media.
it.
Yeah. I mean, I just think social media is just another weapon that you can use, and it's good free advertisement, as you could say, if you put the labor in, make the videos, put it out there, which will open a lot of doors that may not have been open, getting to work with brands that can potentially turn into income for you. I mean,
Yeah.
look at it that way. It's just taking the time to put in that hard work. You're already doing it. Might as well.
I mean, and I look at it more than a weapon. I look at it as it's an entire new type of army that's behind you. You can people are building full businesses and they don't do a thing, other than post stuff or other than repost other people's stuff. So it's out there. Brands can't market anymore. This social media is the only way for them to do it. And so if you work on your individual brand, which is yourself, you can take these where it's not just the free tool or the free whatever. It's also give me some money and I'll sell this thing for you, and I think we're in this middle ground of free tools, do this, or we're not going to give you anything, but we'll give you an affiliation code or something like that, which just means you're an unpaid salesperson. And I don't think any of us want to be salespeople, but I'll happily talk about something that's awesome, that I have, that I like, that I didn't pay for, and I like it. And then also give me a commission on that. And then also pay me to say these things. And now we're talking about making a business out of this, as opposed to just being excited that we're getting some free stuff.
Yeah, I like how you said if they're better at the other part, then they're better.
I mean, they are, right?
You got to get it out there. If you don't get it out there, you can make the best thing in the world or the best video you can make. And if it doesn't go anywhere, and somebody else's does, they're better.
Yeah.
They won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that no slight to them. I look at it like maybe they're not a better craftsman. Maybe they're not a better welder. Maybe they're not a better whatever. But they're getting the work to prove whether they are or not. And, you're working for your neighbor, and they're working for somebody famous or something like that, and you said the goal being you get to a point where you're not haggling your price. I mean, the worst part of any service industry is the client. I say that without any disrespect to the client, because we're all clients, but people suck and they're tough to work with. And, like when you're in the service industry, you're dealing with a million different types of personalities. And those personalities are having a good day, a bad day, a divorce, many divorces, Jake.
It happens.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just there is an option and there is an opportunity there if you have it, if you choose to pursue it. If you have something else, who cares, right? But everybody should have some form of social, just because it is. I have more people today in the client world ask me for my social when we're talking, like strangers that you meet or something, when we're talking about business. So they'll ask me for my socials before they ask me for my webpage, or ask me even for a business card.
They know how far you can go.
Yeah. So it like everybody's got to have these things, and you can leverage them or not. It's just whatever floats your boat, basically.
Yeah. So jumping on that as well, how do you think that it's helped you not being a master of one trade, being a jack of all trades?
That's a tough question. We got a Bob Walters here. I like knowing more than one thing. I like I like having conversations. So knowing a little bit about something is always good than knowing only one thing about one thing.
Yeah.
In woodworking, I don't know that it matters too much, other than like, you're living in a level and plumb and flat world in your wood shop, and then a lot of your stuff is going to go into a crooked world. So it's helpful to be aware of that in your design and your plan and all of that. Managing wise, knowing everything that goes on is just better. And I mean, it's just, the more you know, the more you grow, kind of thing. But woodworking, I don't see it. I don't think it matters too much for what I do anyways. I don't. But it does. It's awesome that I can, completely remodel my own homes, and I can talk to a general contractor because I am one. You know what I mean? Like that's cool, but it's the jack of all, master of none. I would be a master of something if I could go back, and just focus on one thing. I would have just been a master at one thing because I started so young. So by 22, I would have been a master electrician, and then I could go do some other stuff. I already got this down. I got my 10,000 hours in. So now I'll learn this. I think it's good to know something. It's the advice I always give to younger kids is whatever you like, double down on it. Quit trying to Instagram feed, and know everything. Just know the one thing, and just know that thing. And by the time you know it, you're going to be still so young to where you can learn so many other things, but know that thing, so I do like what I know, but I don't think it's needed.
Well, I'll add to that a little bit. I was a master auto tech, and I got hurt and I couldn't do it anymore or whatever. But going over to something else, you've already learned the work ethic. You've already learned how to learn something. A lot of things cross apply.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think, like you said, learning one thing really well doesn't necessarily mean that you're just not going to be able to do something else.
Right.
I didn't even know what woodworking was until I got hurt.
They all intersect, right? Mm-hmm. Like even basic mathematics and your or geometry that you learn in high school, like all of a sudden this starts applying. You're 3, 4, 5, man. Like this stuff starts applying. Education's great, and being I would think like I took that question as like having a goal to be a jack of all. I think it really should just be like having an open mind to absorbing everything that's around you, but do have some direction, have some focus. I accidentally became a jack of all. It was purely it's just for surviving.
You figure out what the problem in front of you.
Yeah, and I needed to pay my rent. I needed to get my car payment so I could go to work. And so I left my cabinet shop because the electrical company was going to pay me more money. Simple as that. I wasn't trying to be an electrician,
Yeah.
So I was able to learn all these things along the way, but by accident, because I just didn't miss a rent payment basically. Yeah. So I just kept going.
That's life, bud. That's life. Yeah. You got to do what you got to do. You know.
You get better at that. That's the thing is that becomes eating every month and paying your bills every month becomes easier the older you get and the more you've done it. You get experience at just life.
Yeah. Well, I think I also have gotten as I've gotten older, I get to a point where I'm like, I'll sleep in my car if I have to. When I was younger, that wasn't an option. Like what am I going to do without a home? Now I'm just like, what? That's all that's gonna. I just got to sleep in my car for a month. Cool, man.
Yeah, I got it.
I can do that. How much money will I save in that month? That'll be awesome.
Yeah, your perspective changes as you get older, right? You always want that nice shiny thing, and then it's like now when you sit back and you think about what the old timers would tell you, and when you were young, you were like, no. Oh, yeah. I want that nice shiny car. I want this, and now that we're older, it's like. I gotta pay for that for 5 years, 6 years. I don't know about that. I don't want that commitment.
I just need a sandwich. I just need a sandwich every day, man. That's it.
I haven't been in a position where I had to worry about worry, not like I'm rich, but worry about money in a decade, but I still look at a minivan now and go like, I could sleep in that. I would just assume have a minivan because then the worst case scenario is I could sleep in that if things got rough, and I'm not going to stay in it, but I know I got a place as opposed to sleeping in the back of my Tacoma, in the middle of winter, so I look at a Sienna and I'm like, I like that. There's
Tacoma, you need a cuddle buddy.
Yeah, there's options there.
There's options. Yeah. So I'm gonna take it back a little bit, going back through your stuff, and I've wanted to know this. I've heard some guys talk about it before, but I want your input on it. The quick shot, the paint sprayer.
Yeah.
How do you like it? You know, can you give us a little bit of input on that?
I love it. I don't think it's a shop, necessity. I do think if you do some small stuff here and there and it just pops up, beautiful. Why break out the sprayer and have to clean out all of that? Every contractor should own a quick shot. It should just be in your truck. It's literally one of the best sprayers I've ever used. And there's nothing to do, load it up and go. I haven't used it enough to go into fine details with it, but I have a Fuji spray for it's not going to trump like any real sprayer for me without saying that negatively. But it is like for sure should be in everybody's contracting van or truck.
So let me ask you this then, just to go a little further on it. Is it an all-around sprayer? Can you do latexes? Can you do lacquers with it as well? Will it do both? Or I imagine you have to change out maybe some needles or something on it. I don't know a whole lot.
There are no needles. It's just tips. So it's just
Okay.
it is just a tip. And then pressure at that point, which is also applied to just the tip. So I have not used any oil based or anything like that on it, but you can based on what I've read. You would thin it out like I would thin out any oil based paint, depending on how you want the spray to go. So I've only used water based with it, and I would say like the dialing in for fine furniture or something like that. A lot of overspray. It's not meant for. It's just not meant for the shop. It works, but it's not meant for it. But in that scenario in the shop where it's like I got to spray this, I don't have anything here, but just this like box that I just made or something and I don't want to break out the whole sprayer and do the whole cleaning, doing the needles and all that kind of stuff. This thing's just sitting here. I'll plug my battery in, done. Absolutely. But it's definitely a field tool for its major purpose.
Quick deals, small reservoir. It's just for quick applications, basically.
Yeah. It goes long. I mean, like it's nothing crazy as far as like how short you can spray. So I don't remember what the quantity is, but because it puts so much out, it does go quickly. And I say this, if the tool is $600 or something like that, like everybody should have one. I think it's $1,200 or more.
It's pretty pricey.
It's a pricey tool. So you're not going to get your money worth in your shop if you already have another sprayer, especially, but you will in the field. You're not breaking out your roller. I mean, just spray it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, cordless is the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a much easier because I've contemplated, I saw that came out on the market and then I was looking at a Fuji and then I'm like, well, there's a big price difference because you can get you a pretty decent Fuji for a lot less money. And it's like, and I believe a Fuji's kind of like an all-around sprayer as well. You can do, water-based, oil-based. It can do it all as well, if I'm not mistaken.
It can.
But
you're getting what you pay for in that, Fuji. If you go to their marketing, they're not showing somebody painting a garage door, and Graco is showing somebody paint a garage door with there. So it's not for the woodworker, but there is a place for it, especially if it's free. If it is not free, I wouldn't really recommend it to any woodworker unless you just have excess cash and you're like, let's get it. It's a cool tool. But that said, you could also be, building cabinets as a woodworker. And so sometimes you have to do some field spraying or things like that. This is a perfect tool for that.
Cool.
Hashtag Graco.
Hello. Speaking of cool tools, you made yourself a circle cutting jig. That is pretty fantastic. Did you make that because you needed to cut a circle or because you just want to make a cool video?
I already had one. So I bought the it's a Grizzly 30th year out in Portland. I bought that, and it was the same place I bought my my table saw that I have in my basement currently from this dying Navy vet. He was 101 or something, and he had that. What I made, he had already. I didn't invent it, and I'd never seen it, and so I'm like, I got to make myself one of these because it was just a little older. It was so cool, you know. Like I'd never seen it because it's so simple, just the same, you know. So yeah, I was like, I need to remake it and, you know, make a video. Why not? Other people should see this because I'd never seen anything like that. I've never seen anybody use it, let alone say that's a thing, you know.
It's pretty cool and simple.
Oh yeah,
simple. Oh yeah, I like it. Matt likes them too.
Yeah, got a nice reel out of that.
He has a reel on. He has a short on. What's it got now? Short on YouTube that has
23.8 million.
damn.
Yeah.
But you made it probably, I assume, before I made mine, right?
3 years
Yeah.
ago.
Well, we'll say yes. You could say yes.
Yeah.
The brag.
Yeah.
He's going to cut his fingers off. You're going to cut your fingers off, boy.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
I would like that. I would like that YouTube money. Well, I haven't seen yours, so I'm going to check it out.
There you go. So I'm going to change the subject completely.
All right.
Talking with you, I know that you're a movie buff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I happen to know that horror is your favorite.
I got my guy on right now.
There you go.
You can see him.
So rank your top 5 horror movies.
Yeah. Sorry. I never
I
got
knew he
to
was
the
going to
T.
bring it out at one point. I knew he was going to bring it out of you at one point.
I never got to a T on that. That was
There you go.
Yeah.
It was,
I'm still struggling with how he said horror.
Yeah. Horror.
there's only one syllable in that. Come on now.
I say horror.
Jen's yelling at us from the chat right now. The other host in there, and she's like, I can hear her saying, Jake, Matt.
But I'll start at the top. I don't know that I can do 5 because it'll get tricky after 2 probably. But the thing is my favorite horror movie. In regards to all of like just it should be everybody's favorite movie. It's a perfect movie.
Mm-hmm.
There is a movie called The Descent, which is kind of like a claustrophobic style horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to not obviously throw in like the original John Carpenter Halloween. House of a Thousand Corpses. I'm a big Rob Zombie guy.
Yeah, me too.
And this is where it starts getting dicey. I don't know that I can do 5 right off the bat like that. 4 is good. 4 is good. No, it's so hard because you just don't get asked that, and then it fluctuates. You know, like that 5th spot's kind of like I just saw this new movie. You know, like so if you put in like an It Follows or a Hereditary or like how do you not put those into your top 5? It's like you know, even if you didn't like Titanic. You know, how do you not say that's one of the better movies ever made? You know, but it's just so that 5th spot's reserved. But I'm a big Rob Zombie guy. I put a lot of his movies in my top, and then go old school. Recently, just saw Oddity. If you guys like newer ones, like that's a good one. And then this movie called Red Rooms, which is basically not even a horror. There's no violence. There's no anything. But it makes you feel like you're in a horror movie, and it's categorized as a horror, but there's no anything that you would imagine in a horror movie. So I'll watch a movie like that and be like, man, that's cinema, right? Yeah. So that's got to be there. But
You had me at Descent.
Yeah, Descent's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My wife's.
We'll get off this podcast and I'll be pissed because I think there's for sure a 5.
Oh yeah.
That I'm just not remembering right now.
5, 6, 7,
I'll go
8,
look at my collection. I'll be like, idiot.
Heck no, man. You start like you watch those. They're doing those little skits on TikTok and stuff where those kids start crawling across the room like somebody's walking, and then they'll just come across behind them and people are licking. The best one is where they get those little mannequins and people are sitting on the couch and they start moving them. And it like catches their attention, and then all of a sudden, it just takes off toward them. I don't know if y'all have seen those, but I get a kick out of them. It's funny because those
are these like Japanese style?
No. It's American stuff. It's just funny. They freak out, like about kill themselves to get away from it. It's whoever's playing the prank on them, you know. But
I could go into horror forever. So, but I just leave with this: is that a horror movie is not necessarily meant to make you jump scare, or horror is the best genre of movie that exists because it can be a comedy. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I'm going to make that my number 5. Forget about it. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. But it can encompass all genres. You know, it can be a drama. It can be a romance. It can be all of these things. And just like I'm saying with that Red Rooms, it's basically a courtroom drama. But it is a horror movie through and through. It's one of these things that makes you feel, not that I don't love the jump scares and things like that and all that, but like a lot of people think you're like you have some sick fetish with gore or violence, and you know that's why you like horror, but that's not necessarily what horror is. And especially with like I love 80s horror, and they're terrible. They're so bad. The worse they are, the better they are. You know, like
I was about to jump in with that, like the Wrong Turn movies and stuff.
Yeah, Wrong Turn's good.
They're awesome.
Yeah. Watch a movie called House tonight, 1983. It is as campy as it can get. And they made 2 of them.
We're gonna try it twice.
You'll want to start wearing. Yeah, you're gonna want to start wearing deep cut V baggy sweaters after. It means nothing to you now, but it will mean something to you soon.
There you go. Just the tip.
I'm going to take us back to the woodworking side. What's your favorite, I guess, piece to make? What do you enjoy the most producing in your shop?
I have a prepared answer for this because I've been asked by friends and things like that, and I never have an answer. My answer is the next thing. I get to a place with every project that I'm over it. So I don't,
well, we all
do. Yeah. So I don't have something I just like to make because I've never had the opportunity just to sit there and make what I want to just make. I'm typically making it for somebody else. So I get very excited for the next thing. And that's my favorite thing, is the next thing.
When you're making that next thing, or the next thing that you're on, how important is it not to have blinders on? But I mean, it's just being here.
In regard to the project?
Yeah. You actually had a story about this, and that's why I'm stating this out.
Did I?
Yes, you did. You were doing a fireplace.
I was bull crapping
like,
you guys.
Hey man, he was filling time.
You were doing a fireplace surround, and you were trying to figure out how to do a dual compound miter cut and how to figure out that angle. And then you realized that you could go straight across with the first angle, and then it was just really easy to do the second.
I was given a tip on that. So like I think I mentioned the dude. I'm not gonna remember his name. That sucks for him. So
that's okay.
But he gave me a thing. But it was definitely like I was overworking. So whether it's blinders or not, like I was overthinking what I needed to do, and that's actually like a shop sickness in the field. You know, like I would have to do crown or do, you know, you're always kind of doing something like that. And I would never have taken that long to figure out the solution. Granted, a lot of it's like Hawk and Putty's carpenter's best friend out there, but
yeah,
I would have just figured it out. But in the field or like in the shop, I get to sit there and I have, you know, and I can try to make it perfect. I can obsess on being perfect. And that's what prevented me from making that the simplest choice. I took the longest routes possible to the point where I asked Instagram, you know, like what should I do here? Because I can't figure this thing out. And then he's like, do you ever just do the one thing straight and do, you know, cope it in? And like coping, I don't cope in the wood shop. I coped for years, you know, I never even thought about it. I never thought about coping, you know?
Yeah.
So that was just me being my own worst enemy in that. And then, but I fixate that's the thing, like from transferring from the field into the shop is like, I fixate on being perfect. And I do think like to tie it into like social media and all this kind of stuff, you see everybody being so perfect all the time. And, you know, like I hardly know everything, hardly, you know, so I'm always learning, but I've been around so long. It's like I'm supposed to know everything by now. So I should be perfect. So I'm going to take the extra time to be perfect. And I'm never perfect. And if it's not perfect, I hate myself. I don't like the job. I want it out of my shop. And it's perfect for somebody else. You know, like the client loves it. And because it wasn't 100% for me, it was 90% for them, you know, or reverse that. But yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah, that crown molding is my kryptonite. I don't know what it is because I've made some complex things.
Yeah,
I just cannot get it to work in my head. I struggle so much trying to do, and it's so simple. Probably I'm just overthinking it. And
it's like solving a Rubik's Cube. You know, like there's a way to do it. You know, like there's also a way to do it really fast. You know, you can just Google it. It's like 8 steps you can solve a Rubik's Cube. It's the same thing as crown molding. Just might take you longer than the really, really smart guy with quick fingers.
Hey, those Rubik's Cubes pop right apart, and you can put them right back together and fixed. That's how
the way I solve them.
Yeah, you can also take the stickers off and put them anywhere you want.
There you go.
Yeah.
Little steam.
Yeah, and you can just throw your money out the window too. I mean, there's always options.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Who is it? Me?
Yeah, just you.
So I saw one of your reels where you said, "Hey, I don't know what size this is. I grabbed some wrenches and one of them fit." So I do that too. If I see a nut or bolt or whatever, I go pick the one I think it is and one bigger and one smaller.
Yeah,
and I do it that way. Do you do that? Are you actually like that, or do you just say that so they don't ask you what size it is?
I'm with everything. I don't know the names of anything. That's why I say I'm glad that your names are underneath your pictures here, because and it's nothing personal to anybody. It's just something that does not work with my brain. So there's those people, especially when it gets into metric. But like, you know, those people that are like, oh, that's going to be a 9/16. Can you grab me? You know, like I can read, you know, so I know what a 9/16 looks like. But like, it just doesn't compute what anything is called for me for some reason. And I do think it's because it's just not necessary. As long as I know how to do it, you know, like my storage is only, you know, I'm probably at a 250 gig at this point inside of my head. And knowing what is called, even though I know where it is, I know how to grab it, I grab the right thing and I know how to use it. That's just wasted. It's wasted storage.
So do you have nicknames for everything too?
Most of them end with thingy, but yeah, sure.
Thingamabobber.
Yeah.
Dimaflachi.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the time to remember the right name for something, but I'll make up another name for it that I'll remember.
I don't get that's even too much time. Everything's just going to be whatever it is at that moment. That thing, grab the thing. One thing I need for the thing, you know, that's it. And if this was a different podcast, I actually add some extra words to those
I'm
things.
sure.
Hey, I do the same thing, and mine was people's names. I can't remember names to save my life, and so I went through about a year and a half. And anybody that listens to this that knew this, I used to call people Homer.
Okay,
because I couldn't remember their name. Hey, what's up, Homer? What's going on, man?
How'd that go? How was that received?
Nobody got it. Nobody understood it. And then now somebody, I'll be like, what's that guy's name?
You're like, he likes me. He called me Homer.
He didn't know my name for about what, a year?
A year. I didn't know. I kept on calling him Juan.
That we're not different at all, man. Like and hopefully you can attest to where I'm coming from. It is not a personal thing. Like I've gotten to the point now where I meet somebody and go like, I'm not going to remember this, by the way, just so we're clear.
I remember your face, but I don't remember your name.
Yeah. I'll remember your face. I'll remember, you know, your darkest secrets that I get you to tell me. I'll remember everything about you. I'll remember what you were wearing. You know, like when I meet you, you know, like
you got a 9/16 friend in your hand. Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, as long as you said get a 9/16. But you like your name's Adam, and I'm like, what's up, man?
Like, what's up, Homer?
2 minutes later. You know?
I've had instances where people come up to me and I, you know, carry on a conversation, laughing. I walk away. And my wife looks at me. You didn't have a clue who that was. I said, not one bit. I have no clue who that was. And she's just shaking her head. It's like, I don't know.
You don't remember the person at all. Like not even the image.
No,
that's
nothing.
a totally different thing.
You know,
That's totally different. That's horrible. That's horrible,
nothing
Joey.
like what we're talking about.
You know,
This is like this is psychopathic. This isn't healthy, man.
You're a horrible person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Joey, I thought his name was Juan for a whole year. Then I was like, I saw his name because usually had Steel Blade on the bottom of his thing, and he had Joey on there. I was like, why does it say Joey on the bottom? He goes, because my name's Joey.
How do you guys know each other? From real life or just from the internet?
well,
internet,
I
mostly?
met, internet. I met Jake. Probably 2019, I guess,
Probably.
somewhere in there. And then through Jake, I met Matt and JP. And then, well, Jake has his shows on Saturday, and that's how we all kind of got to know each other. Jake hadn't started his show yet because he was still doing his job. And me and Jake got to know each other, but Jake already knew Jamie for a long time, way before that, which is JP
Knew me.
Woodworks, right? And knew
Then
Matt.
we got with Matt, and he drove from Georgia to North Texas to help me build this room. He did the 3D rendering of it and the shopping list and everything, and he helped me spend $9 of a 2x4 during the end of COVID. Yeah,
It went
Yeah,
from
so
like a
just-
$2,000 job to
and then we
$7,000.
do the show on Saturdays, and everybody's either on the show or a moderator. And
It's a
just,
show.
I do
like
resin
this,
casting.
or you guys
Yes.
like you just hang out?
Saturday
do,
morning cartoons is what
yeah.
it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does resin casting and silicone casting and turning and just
So you're watching something happen.
Yeah, we're doing.
Yep.
And my
Demonstrations
daughter's with me,
and-
and she's psycho, so
Yeah.
she's fun to watch, and it's a good time. It's an hour on Saturday. Get your coffee and
What time
come
is
in.
this?
10 o'clock Central Time, a.m.
All right.
Yeah. So it's just most of the people in the chat watch cartoons, and it's a good time to become a family.
Yeah,
And they
that's awesome.
like you talking about going full time. Like I've been through it. So there's some obstacles and stuff, and like the revenue streams. I asked you about the revenue streams. There's all kinds of. I got advice over here.
Yeah.
if you want later.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Does it involve selling drugs? Because I hear that's really good.
Yeah. Until it's
until
not.
you get caught. Yeah.
Until it's not.
It's risk reward, you know?
Mhm, exactly.
I used to be in corrections, dude.
So then you know how to smuggle
So
them
you
in.
know all the guys, huh?
Yeah.
You got the connects. I will call you, man.
I just went clocked in, and I was like Barney Rubble, man. Clock in, clock out.
Inflation's great inside.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're at the point we might as well just
On that note,
on that note, just
Way to go.
wrap it up on the drug note. There you go.
But smuggling of drugs.
Yeah.
Let's call it.
Mhm.
So, Mark, at this point, if you got anything coming up here pretty quick and you want to mention it to the listeners out there, all Mark's links are down in the description below. Y'all go support this guy, follow him, like his stuff, help him out, get going, doing this full time. But
And his
the show,
podcast.
the stage is yours. There you go.
Do you have my podcast in the link below? I don't see links, but do you have it?
No.
Well, I have a
don't.
podcast called the Happy Hour Podcast with Streamline Craftsman. It is easily the second best podcast on the air. What do they call it? On the web.
Yeah.
Although I've only had 3 episodes, so there'll be 3 more in the first season, and then I'm going to take a little bit of a hiatus. And I have nothing to promote other than myself. I'm a pretty awesome dude. So let's be friends. Like, follow, subscribe. And I'll be at the Texas Woodworking Festival. I'm not going to be at the Makers Camp. A lot of people are going to the Makers Camp. I'm not going to be there this weekend, but I'll be at the Texas Woodworking Festival. If you see me, my name is Mark. Please walk away without looking me directly in the eyes.
When's that Texas Woodworking? That's up in Austin, right? If I'm not
Yeah, it is.
mistaken.
For me, that's down in Austin. I did a stint in Austin. I lived in Austin for a year. I was a Texas man for 365 days. I think it's November 9th and 10th or 8th and 9th. You know, it's that weekend.
There you go.
Mhm.
got you my contact in the comments right there.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Yeah. All right, Matt.
I have been busy with the job, and my shop kind of looks, I don't know if you never noticed that you kind of start moving things out of the shop, and it kind of looks like a storage container right now. So I got to get some things cleaned out of the beginning, put some stuff away, and get back to work. And it hopefully pretty soon. So
there we go. Saturday morning cartoons. We're gonna have somebody said my molds are expensive, so I'm gonna put them on sale for one day only. If they don't watch and buy some stuff, I'm gonna tell them to shut up.
there you go.
There you go. We're gonna have some of that. We got stuff to give away, and the dust collector's almost done. And Jackie's a big help. She's out there. She is psycho, and she's been a big help. So she's gonna come here tomorrow. We're gonna finish it tomorrow. There you go.
It
There
sucks.
you go. I am as well been very busy at the job. I gotta keep these fat cheeks up, so gotta work to get the food. You know,
Girlish figure.
trying to get back out in the shop and do some stuff. Trying to get this office finished up from this expansion. But we're getting there. We'll get there at some point. Next week we have Madeira Designs on the show. Same time. Please make sure to get on over to iTunes. Leave us a review, please. Check everything out. Give us a 10. We want 10 stars. There you go. Anyhow, thank you again, Mark, for taking the time out and being with us. It was a pleasure, sir.
Thank you all.
Yes, it was.
It
Great,
was.
man.
Yes, sir.
And everybody out in the chat, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us tonight. And we'll see y'all next week, same time, same place, and same beautiful faces. We're out of here. Bye-bye.
Well.